When the economy is down, you tend to use your credit cards for anything and everything. You look to borrow money from online lenders, set up monthly payment plans, or take it out in loans from friends and family. Unfortunately, this is all very common and unwise, and will inevitably cause more trouble.
I had a woman come to see me here not long ago, and she'd come on some money, not very much, but it was a lot to her. And she said, "What should I do with it?" And I said, "Well, what do you owe on your credit card?" She said, "Well, I owe X." I said, "Well, what you should do," I don't know what interest rate she was paying. It was something like 18%. I said, "I don't know how to make 18%. If I owed any money at 18%, the first thing I do with any money I had would be to pay it off. It's going to be way better than any investment idea I've got."
Understanding why these things happen during a recession is the first step in avoiding them altogether. There are a lot of things you can do to minimize the damage during a recession. In this video, I will point out the worst mistakes you could make during a recession. Then I'm going to give you some ideas on reframing these mistakes into something more positive using Warren Buffett's principles. Warren Buffett is one of the world's wealthiest people. He didn't go to Harvard or Yale, but spent his childhood in Nebraska. He became a successful investor, having amassed a fortune through investing in various commodities, including insurance and automobiles, and survived the economic downturn of 2008. He wants to share the principles he used during the economic downturn so that you also can take advantage of any recession like him. Let's start with the first mistake. You put a stop to your investments. While you might be reluctant to part with your hard-earned money when the market declines, keeping it rather than investing it could be a costly oversight you regret. It might be intimidating to keep making investments when the future is unknown, yet this is one of the finest times to add to your portfolio. Despite the market's recent recovery since COVID, stock prices are generally far below than their highs earlier this year. As a result, you can stock up on high-quality stocks at a lower price, which might help you save a lot of money. This tactic has the potential to be successful. When you invest during a downturn in the economy, you're positioning yourself for substantial profits when the market bounces back. Buffett advises investors to be greedy when others are scared and fearful when others are greedy while making investment decisions. Your chance to be greedy and invest as much as you can afford will present itself if we have a full-blown recession and stock prices continue to decline. But it's not just about investing. It's about picking the best recession-proof investments and investing with quality in mind. This is particularly crucial to keep in mind when stock prices are low. Sometimes it might be tempting to purchase risky stocks only because they are on sale. Adding solid, long-term equities to your portfolio is the most excellent method to ensure that your assets withstand a downturn. Not all firms will survive difficult economic times, but strong enterprises stand the best opportunity of achieving steady growth amid uncertainty.
Hi, Mr. Buffett. My name is Mallory Marshall. I am 11 years old and I am from Kearney, Nebraska. I have 2 questions. First, my dad would like to know if you have any grandsons my age.
She wants to know if you have any grandsons her age.
How many shares of stock do you have? And I'll tell you the
Also, what investment advice do you have for young people of my generation?
Yeah, well,
During a recession, each of these top sectors tends to outperform the market. 1. Energy companies. Utilities are a solid investment for people looking for recession-proof equities with high dividend yields because they are a part of the nation's everyday activities. 2. Healthcare companies. Even during recessions, healthcare firms tend to outperform the larger stock market regarding earnings stability. According to J.P. Morgan Chase & Company analysts, healthcare companies provide defensive growth, excellent margins and pricing power, and good shareholder return at a reasonable value. 3. Tech companies. Information technology companies are constantly changing their product lines to become more innovative, making them more profitable. And lastly, Invest in real estate. Residential properties are the finest investment during a recession. Someone is almost certainly looking for a place to live. Because it is a basic necessity, housing is constantly in high demand. The second mistake that you're prone to make is to lack a fallback strategy. You have to have a plan of action if you lose your work. To choose your next moves, Scott Newhouse, a financial counselor at Forthright Finances, advises you to ask yourself the following questions. How are you going to replace the lost income promptly? What types of employment are you going to seek? Where can you locate them? What could chances for network be helpful? Have a side hustle. Invest in yourself. Buffett proclaimed, "The smartest thing you can do is to be very brilliant at something." People will pay you a portion of their output in exchange for your services. In other words, unlike money, abilities are immune to inflation and the effects of recessions. In Buffett's opinion, anything you create for yourself that is tax-free is the finest investment.
So if you are interested in financial matters, getting a stake early is very useful, and getting knowledge early is very useful. So, I would say you're well on the way if at 11 you're even interested in coming to a meeting like this. And I would, if that interest is maintained, I would read financial publications. I would read whatever was of interest to me. I'd be curious about how the businesses around the town of Kearney operated. I would, to the extent that you can get people to talk to you, and people usually like to talk, learn about who's got good businesses in Kearney and why they're good businesses, and learn about the businesses that went out of business and why they went out of business, and just keep accumulating knowledge. That's one of the beauties of the business that Charlie and I are in, is that everything is cumulative. The stuff I learned when I was 20 is useful today. Not necessarily the same way and not necessarily every day, but it's useful. So you're building a database in your mind that is going to pay off over time. But you have to have a little money to work with. So there's nothing like getting a few dollars ahead. Stay away from credit cards, and you can have a lot of fun if your mind goes along that track as you get older.
Don't know how to pick a profitable niche for yourselves? Check my previous videos, which will show tips for picking the right business to generate a reliable passive income for yourself. Also, consider pressing the subscribe button and turning on the notifications bell for more business hacks and tips. Let us go to the third mistake. You add more debt. Recessions are inevitable. To an employer, it means laying people off and trimming payroll costs. To consumers, it means finding ways to save up money. As is the case right now, recessions can occasionally accompany an increase in interest rates. For instance, if you have a personal loan with an adjustable interest rate, the interest rate may rise, increasing your monthly payment. The same situation applies if your adjustable rate mortgage's fixed rate period is set to expire or has already ended. Buffett, unlike many Americans, did not labor to pay interest. Instead, he made interest work for him. In a 1991 lecture at the University of Notre Dame, Buffett claimed that he has witnessed more individuals fail as a result of alcohol and leverage, which is defined as borrowed money. You don't need influence in this environment. You can make a lot of money without borrowing if you're clever. Buffett is very cautious with credit cards. He advises you stay away from them entirely.
Avoid credit cards. Just forget about them. We're in various businesses that issue credit cards. The American public loves credit cards. But if you start revolving debt on credit cards, you're going to be paying 18 or 20%. And you can't make progress in your financial life going around borrowing money at 18 or 20%. You can make a lot of money by lending it out at 18 or 20% over time. If you can find anybody that's good that will borrow from you. But you don't want to be on the side of the equation that's always behind in life.
Buffett once stated, interest rates on credit cards are high. Occasionally, they are 18% or even 20%. I would be bankrupt if I borrowed 18% or 20%. Using the avalanche strategy. When prioritizing paying off the loan with the highest interest rate first and making aggressive payments while merely making the minimum payments on all your other obligations is one efficient way to reduce your debt faster. On to the fourth mistake you can make: plundering your nest egg. One of the biggest mistakes people make during a recession is not thinking about the retirement accounts they have at the company. Like any other financial decision making, your 401k strategy must be on point to protect your future. Don't chase recent performance, and don't try to time the market. You can take advantage of employer matches on contributions as long as they're properly diversified. Make sure your financial advisor has your best interests so you can avoid any psychological issues that may arise from differentiating between assets. Mistake number 5. You don't have enough savings and you lack an emergency fund. The recession is a time for personal financial discipline, not for shortchanging yourself of potential resources. An emergency fund of 6 months will help you face potential financial hardships. In addition, during recessions, people with access to cash are in a better position to take advantage of investment opportunities that can significantly improve their finances long term, i.e., opening a liquor store, grocery store, or a pharmacy. The first step in starting to save is to look at your existing spending patterns. One strategy for doing this is to keep account of every purchase you make for a few months, either in a notepad, an Excel sheet, or an application like Mint or Personal Capital. Once your spending is under control, set a particular savings objective and work toward it.
Be saving 10% of your income instead of 5% of your income. I think it's crazy to be spending 105% of your income, and I think that leads to all kinds of problems.
Financial experts advise saving 3 to 6 months worth of living costs as a startup emergency fund. Aim higher if the prospect of a recession is worrying you, though. According to financial coach and I Will Teach You to Be Rich author Ramit Sethi, it's ideal to automatically set aside 10% of your salary each month outside your retirement assets. However, if saving 10% is not possible, even 1% is preferable to doing nothing. Since a recession is unlikely to occur tomorrow, start smart by setting aside $5 daily, then gradually increasing your savings. The key is automation. Avoid procrastination and temptations. You may use an app like Digit, Capital, Chime, or Albert to save for you, or set up automatic transfers from your checking account to a high-yield savings account. Consider subscribing to my channel if you want to learn more money-saving strategies. And lastly, you become too anxious. In a recession, the stock market is likely to crash. It would be best if you attempted to maintain composure rather than immediately sell off your investments in the face of declining figures. The market will see ups and downs. Making choices out of fear or panic brought on by recession or the possibility of one is never a good idea. Significant despair, anxiety, and drug abuse levels can result from intense stress and concern about a recession or an unstable economy. Keep in mind that downturns don't endure forever. Buffett remarked in 2010 in reaction to the National Bureau of Economic Research's announcement that the recession ended in June 2009. We're not going to be out of it for a while, but we will get out. Buffett said that for him, a recession ends when the actual gross domestic product, GDP, per person reaches its pre-recession level. If panic attacks took over Elon Musk, he couldn't be the wealthiest billionaire in the world. He was bullied at school. At 14, suffered an existential crisis. He gave up the Stanford PhD program. He got fired from the CEO position at PayPal. Lived in the office of the Zip2 company. Now, he is the founder of SpaceX, Telsa, Neuralink, and Solar City with a net worth of $181 billion. You can also change your negative emotions, positive vibes, and become the next Elon Musk. If your anxiety gets out of hand, meditate daily. Inhale through your nose as deeply and as slowly as you can. Exhale through your mouth slowly, deeply, and softly. Some people find it helpful to count slowly from 1 to 5 on each inhale and exhale. Focus on breathing while you close your eyes. Lyrics from The Lofty Girl can help keep you on track while meditating. Many people are scared when the economy goes south or from financial meltdowns like in 2008 and think it's the world's end. There may be another bank failure, a government shutdown, or a global economic disaster, and you won't have to worry about layoffs or to have your car repossessed. By avoiding these blunders, you may construct a financially robust structure that can withstand any economic crisis. If you want more out of life, embrace the economic downturn and keep your focus on creating wealth with my financial tips. Oh, you're still there. Here's a bonus for you only. Don't let your health insurance expire. It would be best if you didn't stop paying for health insurance during a recession. Health insurance covers the cost of medical bills and protects you, your family, and their future. Even if you should be cutting back on spending during a recession, it's important to remember that paying for your health coverage may still be necessary. With discounts depending on your income and household size, you might be able to obtain an inexpensive health insurance plan via the marketplace if you're jobless. Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program may potentially be able to provide you with accessible or affordable coverage. CHIP. With my next video, you will learn how to take advantage of these economic downturns and create wealth quickly. You will also discover how to optimize your life to change your financial future and retire early.